Hey guys, welcome back to more Hytale, and we'll be, of course, as usual, working on more Tales of Sunsword adventure map. It's me, Hero of the Heart, Gecko Comics. We're finally taking a break from Castle Slocgorm. Can you believe it? It's been how many hours? How many weeks for me? For you? Of course, from where I'm standing, you still got 2 weeks to go, but from where you're standing, I already have a mod submission out, probably. Probably. I mean, yeah, idea is I get it out before March 31st, so I can have an attempt at getting those drops on the contest. Anyhow, right. So, yeah, we got the castle. It's all looking pretty cool. Cooler than it's ever looked. I'll have to, like, take a screenshot of it or something at a later point. But, yeah, now we've got stuff to do on the south. We need to get all caught up with everything between the castle and where we start the adventure map. Oh right, I forgot to turn down my render distance a little bit. Because I still don't have necessarily the greatest computer in the world. Bit of a aging fossil that, great as it is. Oh gosh, and I still got all these things around here. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I was last in here. Oh right, I max tiered the stuff here. Kinda forgot about that. Right, we can just teleport to markers. Still can't hang out from the ceiling just yet, can we? And let me... because I have this thing still here from, Okay. Well, this is gonna be fun. So I kind of need a basic layout for everything, and that means I'm gonna need to get... let's see... Sorry, just kind of looking at things. I'm trying to remember where the, that one tool was. The one that lets me, define an area. Where could it be? I may have just forgotten what it is. I guess it would have to be in here. Um, hmm. Okay, let's see how these are compared. Ah, okay. So I might want to... I think something has changed with how this brush operates. Okay, that's interesting. Oh wait. Hang on. I haven't used these in a while. What the... Okay. Actually, let's just not even bother with a mask. It, stole the mask. Okay. What? Right. Give me a moment to just kind of relearn everything with this. I'm not used to stone being like buried somewhere in this search list. Because, you know. Anyway. Alright, and this should. Okay, so we're just gonna. Kinda just, rid of all the path blocks here since we've got probably a better tool for doing that. Okay. Oh, right, and then we've also got, I don't like how it doesn't just keep. How deep is this? Not very. It is. That is my calcite. Okay. Oh, now is this. What is up with this? Well, anyway. See, we're just gonna. Yeah, do all this. It's possible I may just be forgetting, like, a particular feature on, whatever the plane restriction thing was. Anyway, we're, yeah, kind of getting rid of the path here, because it's, yeah. Need to, oh, right. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff I need to, why is that rock there? Okay. Let's, how does this work? It's a brush with layering. Okay, that makes sense. What about this? Sculpt, okay. What's tint do? Oh, right. Is there anything for changing a biome? Actually. Let me also just mess with some of these. It's a river brush, building brush, key brush, forest brush. Clearly, I should, where's the lava? Okay, I have to dig down far enough. That's cool. Okay. Okay, I could potentially use this. Let me see. Okay. River brush. Let's see. Oh my. That's honestly more like a beach. But it lets me modify how it's working. Alright, I think for now, let's go with combination mountain and path. Just wish there was some way to restrict elevation more cleanly. There used to be, although that was also like acting a little weirdly. I could try using that. So let's... Yeah, about as you might expect. Okay, fair enough. Wait, where is the, where's the help menu? It's supposed to have a help menu. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I have to press a invisible button to bring it up. Oh wait, access lock. So it's Shift E. There we go. Alright, mountain brush. Alright, so from what I do have that I know I'm going to be doing, we've got a couple of hills kind of surrounding the house a little bit. Yeah, so let's see. Can I make this cylindrical? Thank you. Wait, I'm silly. I need it to be that. I actually want it to be a little bit wider. Is that too much? Oh, take your time. Might be a little bit much for it to handle. Alright, I don't want to be too close by. So kind of just have this slope around. It's interesting how it's operating. It's not like generating cliffs. Because that's kind of what I'm after. There, that's working out better. Okay, how high is this? Let's see. Because part of my design here is like, yeah, it's supposed to be kind of almost cliff-like. I want a lot of the geography to be more cliff-like. Maybe not to a unrealistic degree, but all right. Okay, it's a pretty nicely smart brush. I'll definitely want to have like layering going on. Let me extend the height of this by another. Let's go with bottom actually. See, I'm gonna try with multiples of 6 because multiples of 3 will not restrict movement at all for players. In the previous iteration to the Sunsword, yeah, I was going with multiples of 3 specifically, because it was like, you know, decently shallow without. It was basically like decently shallow without it being too easily traversable. I'm thinking of like, yeah, if I want movement restriction, I gotta do it a little differently. Although I'm not totally against. Let me actually. You know what? I think going center might actually be healthier. Okay, let me. Yeah, just. Is that deleting? No, it's not. What's the difference between right click and left click? I'm not really able to tell. Me. I don't know. I still don't know why it's doing this. Why it randomly decides to be one block higher or lower. Anyhow. Just kind of clear this back a little. And there it goes, just randomly dipping for no reason. I don't get it. Why does it do that? Okay, let's raise this back up a little bit. I think it's specifically on the older brushes that I might have to be wary. Alright. Okay, so let's see. Go ahead and center it because I do want it to affect the actual like soil and everything, or the ground. So with it being 6. Oh. Okay. So this actually does like decently kind of paint out. I just wish that left click would like erase the way it does on a regular brush. I'm not getting quite the consistency I'm looking for. this one. Oh, right. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Let's make you wider. Oh wait, that's height. No, 5 was good. Okay. Yeah. I kind of want to cut this a little bit. What are you doing? Well, I just kind of clear that out. And then, yeah, there's some random holes here. Because the brushes are acting a little bit less than consistent. And select tool is also being a little funky now. I hate it when it does that. Okay. Okay, so let's see, I've got that's mountain. I'll put you back here because that's like mountain peaks, and that's the grass. All right, so I want to let me define a proper boundary. Of sorts. Yeah, it's interesting. The left click is not destroying blocks where I'm aiming, it's placing them and placing them somewhat wider than I would be doing normally. Okay, so around here we're going to, have springs. I might even just use the hot springs brush at that rate. God, it's so nice not having to worry about accidentally, like, having a mishap or something painting into the wall right there. And I was just randomly sunk a block again. Okay, this needs to get patched. Whatever's going on with the, hang on, this also... What? Oh, right, because it's... Yeah. That is not the side I grabbed! Alright. Let's just take it easy. Okay. Just go about. I at least want the area around the house to be very similar to what I had going on the previous iteration of the map. Other than that, it's going to be, you know, a little different here and there, mostly on, like, how expansive the area is, because it was actually quite, not a lot of traversable area. I mean, granted, you weren't supposed to, you know, be there for super long, but, you know, given what we can do now, I don't mind having it more open. And yeah, I will go over with a taller brush for mountain layering. Alright, can I just, Okay, so it's not quite the... Oh, it's a reductive smooth. I see. Okay. I suppose there's a little bit of sense to that. I guess that's how World Edit also was, so why am I surprised? Okay, I think, you know, let's focus on just having, like, sort of a base form for the terrain. Yeah, kind of like this. I can use a smooth brush for smoothing out areas where it's supposed to be a, you know, decent enough path to traverse. Right. Let's see. So we will have a farm. This might be... I'm not sure if this is more cramped or not than the previous iteration. Alright, let's see. So we kind of had like a mound here. Strange that it's 4 blocks, but you will be able to climb that. And this one's only 3 for some reason. I don't get it. I think the brushes could use some work on consistency and precision. Like, what is going on here? Hello? Why can't I get it? What's going on? It's just arbitrarily deciding to just... Do I need to drag this, or what? Okay. That's weird. I guess it could be to do... I thought I had it perfectly flat. More or less. Let's not forget, I don't want it too close to the house because I want there to be space for like a farm or something, so I might have to remove some of the area there. Right. Oh boy, this side of the map. Before I actually change the rock type, I should probably finish up with making yeah, for some reason, going too far this direction relative to the thing makes it go down or something, I don't know. Slightly annoying considering it's, you know, visually it looks like I'm, anyway. So there's like some smoothing going on here still. I think. Oh well. Anyway, this is definitely going to be easier to put together than before. Although things may just be, again, arranged a little differently. I probably should have done the hills before the actual, like, mountain range. Guess I could try and, fix that, so to speak. Why is it one up from where I'm aiming? I don't like that it does that. Well, no matter. Okay, so... I don't get it. I don't get why it just kind of arbitrarily decides elevation and doesn't elaborate. Also, I think this is encroaching a bit too far on Silver Mountain land. Oh right, that was a facade. Oop. Who is pinging me at this time? Okay, it's just an alternate mechanism. I really should just like... Eh, it's fine. Okay, right, so I need mountains. Okay, this is largely filled out. I probably should be running the mountain brushes, or the, you know, massive pillar brushes as, you know, center so that, you know, they actually hit the ground underneath too. Being able to do that at least. I wonder what the smooth brush would do if I aim it at the top. I can't even see where I'm aiming. So it might not even be doing anything. One thing of consideration is I probably should try to find space to put in a some sort of a mysterious mansion mini dungeon, just because of like, well, parity with one of the unfinished custom dungeons I have in Sonic Roblox Super Sona, which is like supposed to be like the first one chronologically if you don't include the tutorial dungeon. I am definitely starting to get actual like terrain definition, which is nice. I have to keep improving on that though. Hopefully Steam will stop getting into... It's not even their fault, mind you, but like, hopefully at some point Steam will be like left alone long enough to finally get the Steam machine out so I can upgrade my computer. Or just, you know, get a new computer without all the other hellscape that's out there. Because I'm not going back to being dependent on Windows. They sunk that ship. Microsoft has sunk that ship. I do not care anymore. What the? At least I can rebuild it. Yeah, man. That? Oh, it builds it up. Okay. So the mountain brush is more like just a terrain add. And I could hypothetically make it big enough to just, you know, actually build a mountain. Other than that's not really what I'm, you know, using it for right now. I probably might end up doing that later, just not right now. Okay, increasing the width does seem to... Oh, yeah. So I'm able to repair all that. Oh, wow. So yeah, I can just kind of like erode all this away. And then I don't even really have to worry because I can just go back over it. Oops. This is definitely going to take some time, but it's not going to be months and months. It's just going to be like weeks and weeks to get the like the rate I'm able to paint the Silver Mountain is like already putting to shame what I was able to do on the, because like this is like hundreds of blocks, 800 blocks tall. And I was able to reach those heights on the old Tale of Sunsword built map, but like with the methods I had access to that I was using and stuff, then it wasn't really. It was yeah, it was more like because I was using command blocks to basically have a very rudimentary sort of brush at all for terrain, which did have a lot more control and precision when used correctly. Keyword, used correctly, because I had a few mishaps here and there with it, especially when I was building with other people, and may have had a couple of incidents where someone wandered off and loaded the brush command blocks on accident without knowing they were there while I was building the castle. And suddenly I had a piece of Golden Mountain just shoot up while I'm inside of a castle wall and erase 20 minutes of progress instantly. But oh man, I'm getting a little carried away with the Silver Mountain right now. I really should be focusing nearer to the home of the hero. But at the same time, I want to give the mountain proper form. I also got, give the Gold Mountain some attention too. Also, like, yeah, I probably need to like just make Silverfoot Woods expanded, especially again, so I can have the mansion, because that's if I'm going for parity, that's where the Woodland Mansion is. Is it? Yeah, it's basically in Silverfoot Woods. More so the southern region, but I'm like, I'd have to expand that even more to have another mansion there, and for right off of spawn, not ideal. Okay, yeah, I definitely gotta pull back towards the house. I hope a map this big will be fine. Because like, for like uploading CurseForge, I think it should be, but I don't know if what their file size restrictions are on adventure maps. I definitely really appreciate, like, yeah, wow, we've got a lot of cool preset brushes now. Maybe they were already there before, but yeah, you can just kind of throw in whatever you want, and it'll kind of just work out. Like, yeah, specific preset brushes for, basically anything you need. I'll definitely have to have a look at how the Lava Cracks brush works, because there's a lot of interesting potential that you could give it. Like having, instead of it being lava cracks, you could have like, poison cracks or something. Or just really weird, like, sinkholes for water. Because you can just change everything out to suit your needs. Oh man. I won't be able to do everything for like you know, Persona Blast parity on, because some of the locations on Fez Adventures aren't even within Slocgorm. Like Frozen Spaceport, that's supposed to be in the South Pole, and yeah, Tale of Sunstorm is basically like a alternate timeline Earth, although not a true alternate timeline, because it's also like it does have to acknowledge the fact that, you know, it's pulling from things from my dreams and stuff, and it like in its the truest way to state what it is kind of like an echo of my psyche, my mental landscaping and everything. And, you know, it pulls some things from my dreams or my history. The castle I have not actually seen in my dreams. I've been told about, and it also just kind of naturally flowed out of me. Which is just, like, because, again, I was just building it to have a castle. I have had dreams of castles, don't get me wrong. Although they always had, like, some variant of Count Strahd for some reason. Or a number of them did. But, like, one of the main ones I had was, like, you know, there was a castle off in the distance, and, you know, far enough away that I wouldn't have been able to actually gotten any real details out of it. But in this particular dream, I also, it's, you know, been like 5 years since I had this dream. It was like I was in a swampy marsh, and I was stopping by some kind of a witch's hut, and it's like, it's a little weird, because it was like, I mean, it was, you know, wetland, marshy stuff, area, of course, kind of what inspired the Cerulean Mire, but I was like, so I play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons Online. I've kind of been taking a hiatus from that lately, because, like, some of my characters aren't in the greatest positions right now, like Bunny Kid. I leveled her back to 20 to help someone get his character out of epics, because he's just got not a great build on that character. Yeah, I'll go over this later. But like, also I'm just, most of my time is, you know, either Persona Blast or Hytale right now, so I just can't afford to really dive into DDO again at the moment. Oh yeah, I can use eraser brushes to make the sheer cliffs. I'll have to keep that in mind. Anyway, so, but for a long time I have been actually playing Dungeons & Dragons Online. I've been playing it since 2011. Sure, just gonna fill that in. So, and one of my favorite, you know, content packs is Curse of Mists of Ravenloft, or Curse of Strahd, because it, you know, kind of got both names. I was actually a little disappointed on, like, the whole Chills of Lamordia, because it's kind of being like, oh yeah, it's just like, you know, Ravenloft, and to some degree, kind of yes, but like, I don't know, I'm just, I know they're pulling from other content. I was just like, you know, oh, it's gonna be kind of like Barovia again with, you know, but like maybe in the colder mountains or something. Oh, it's Victorian era. Okay. And everything's like, you know, it's like, it feels more like a cold version of, a mix of Sharn and then also fucking Orchard Macabre, than like, you know, another extension of like the Ravenloft stuff. But that's just my personal take. If it's connected, it's connected. I'm not sure how it's connected. They're acting like it's connected, but I don't know. My experience with actual tabletop D&D is very limited. Because mostly a lack of dungeon masters, really. Although at this point also a lack of time, but mostly a lack of dungeon masters more than anything. Like I've played it a little bit. It's just, yeah, not really had any no consistency on who I get to even, you know, on being able to do anything in the first place. Anyways, so main thing is I do a lot of you know, DDO. A lot of, and that would also entail like, yeah, Curse of Strahd. Expansion is by far one of my favorites. So much that it has apparently affected much of my dreamscape in my psyche. Yippee. Oh, that's not, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just, yeah. It's done that for me. I think maybe a little wider. Okay, so that brush is a little bit... Okay, no worries, no worries. Just filling in the holes, because I don't like having weird spots in my geography, even if no one's going to see it. But, so yeah. Curse of Strahd stuff has affected my psyche quite a bit. And so, like, yeah, this one particular dream, I'm very much aware of a castle looming, like, on the horizon or something. Getting a sense of, like, north or northwest from my position. I'm in some sort of a wetlands full of, like, tall grass, you know, almost like I'm on the quest, hang on. Yeah, almost feeling like I'm on the quest Raven's Bane, which is where you go to Baba Wysaga's hut for the first time, you know, and basically steal one of the magic gems from her. But it's like, you know, instead of like, part of my psyche almost wants to like paint the person I'm visiting as Baba Lysaga, but like a good version of her, weirdly. You know, main thing is like some old crone out in the middle of the wetlands in a hut, and I'm going to visit her, like to get remedies and stuff, preparing to go to the castle. It's a dreamscape, so of course the dream jumps around, and that's not actually what happens after I go in, for some reason. And you know, it's also a bit more of an adult dream after that, involving me kind of getting pinned on a table and being turned into a bunny person, kind of like Bunny Kid, but well, not really turned into one, but like I'm just, you know, yeah. Yeah, again, it gets into kind of being like adult things, and then like someone that my psyche paints as being a Strahd-like figure is there, and but yeah, very weird dream. I can't really elaborate more on it. I don't even remember anything like explicitly happening other than I'm just kind of on the table and there being like, you know, and those kind of, you know, psyche impressions you get in a dream, like, you know, this is kind of what's going to happen next, but you don't see it, kind of a thing. Like, you know what's going to happen next, but you just don't see it. And it's not even like someone telling you, it's just yeah, you just kind of know, and you get the feeling of, oh, I see where this is going. But anyway, so of course also like happening in a twisted version of my dad's cabin. I'd been going to my dad's cabin a lot at that point because you know, but well, I say but you don't know, but there's nothing to really elaborate on there, and not in the same sense as like where the dream was going, but just like different points in my life, especially more recently, like been going to my dad's cabin a lot because I mean, been going there throughout my life. It's been a place that I've been going to since I was free because that's around when we got it. And it's just a little hunting cabin that we've been fixing up over time because things happened to it, and it was also kind of cheaply made. I am a little curious why it took him so long to actually start wanting to build on it, considering he's had it for well over 20 years now, and we're only now like doing anything to change it. He's had plenty of hunting trips. It may just be like a matter of like knowledge and stuff, because it definitely served its purpose, but also maybe he wanted to have me like grow up so I could help him out with it and have it be like a father-son bonding thing. But I don't know, kind of weird timing considering all the potential bonding we could have done constructing stuff when I was younger. But like the now fallen apart sort of tree fort-ish thing that he was gonna have my sister and I work on as just a bonding and skill learning thing, and then he just kind of did it himself entirely because he's just kind of like that. Anyway, right, I kind of want to fill all this out. I was weirdly apprehensive about getting around to doing all the painting and stuff because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be recording and working and everything. But you know what? I was right about this being more relaxing than working on the castle. I needed a break and to just be like, very light amount of thinking compared to trying to just make everything fit into confined boxes. Especially trying to make it look pretty and everything. But I'm just kind of my mind going in circles. So back to like the map, Tale of Sunsword, the land of Slocgorm. Yeah, it's kind of an amalgamation of just my creativity running loose combined with like dreams and stuff and things I've been told about. Right, because I was talking about how like I've never actually seen, where I got the castle from. At most, I have seen again the castle in the distance in that one dream where I was visiting the witch's hut. And there was also another dream where I was in some sort of a really big castle environment, not Castle Slocgorm, because at least the iterations of Castle Slocgorm I've made have all kind of been boxes, but like it was one that was laid out more like Castle Ravenloft, a little bit, kind of, not really. Had a lot of lower level rooms along hallways and stuff that for some reason also had like Luigi's Mansion 1, nursery room layout and shit on some of them. It's, again, the dreamscape. So, actual dreams I had and stuff, and kind of silly, goofy. I forget even what I was doing there other than like I was trying to do something to like, some sort of like cleansing and bringing light and thing, and there was again a fucking Strahd von Zarovich type figure, but like not evil or something, wanting stuff to be done to like break him free of a curse. Yeah, it was like a curse lifting kind of thing on the different rooms and stuff going around. If they got too dark, I'd have to come back later or something. You know, it was dreams don't always try to make sense, you know. Alright, anyway, we've got a solid enough mountain border now. I think I can go ahead, pocket the mountain brushes I've got. Not the actual mountain brush, because that's not paint. I'm not using that to paint mountains, I'm using that to paint hills and cliffs. Speaking of, back to center with you. I want to get it back onto oh right, I want this raised. Thank you. Alright. So this will be some hillsides here. There's going to be cave entrances, and then that's going to be hot springs again. Right, I should probably... I have to sink the ground again so I can carve all this out again. Yeah, actually just kind of take a big chunk out. It's nice I don't have to drag this around anymore. Alright. Get you back to top so I can just kind of... Right. Shift E, sink it down again because I need to do terrain repairs. It doesn't matter how high I make it when it's on top mode, because it's just gonna, you know, take, quote unquote, the top. Alright, back to center. Raise it back up. Okay. I'll fix that up later. Alright, I do want to have more like... This might be roughly around the same size as the previous map when everything's said and done. Give or take. Okay. So this is a part where, right, I just make it taller. Might need to open it up even more. Yeah, let me just go ahead and like do that. Yeah, kind of getting a sense of I need more room in here. I probably also could do with turning off my full bright since it's kind of like daytime and everything. Oh wait, no, it won't stay daytime because I've got daylight moving. Whatever. Okay, just kind of also smooth this away. I'm not like leaving anything up top, right? Oh yeah, I should be fine. Pardon me. Yeah, I can eat away at this too. Because yeah, I want more space in here, more, you know, open wilderness to really get to mess around with and explore. Even if it's just kind of like, you know, landscape, because this isn't really a highly important area. It's like, in a way, this is kind of more of a safe zone than an actual, you know, environment. That said, I do want it to actually be an environment unto itself, especially since like I'm going for this being the more sort of a hangout version of the map, where you can just kind of like go in and enjoy just the natural beauty of the land of Slocgorm. And no, I'm not going to make Slocgorm rely on actual world generation. Um, that's just not appropriate for what it is. It's a very specific location with very specific features. And also, yes, it is a dreamscape for me. Kind of. Again, amalgamation of things, but... Oh yes, and I was talking about like how the castle was like... Yeah. Yeah, some of the importance regarding the castle, for how I understand it in our version of reality and everything, is like... Yeah, other timeline stuff, close friend of mine, you know, passed away for years ago. I'd been, you know, when I was working on the first iteration of Tale of Sunsword, was telling me about the castle and stuff, when I was trying to tell him about the castle. And I can, you know, again, it's one of those things where like I can kind of trust what he's telling me when he goes and just like, you know, oh yeah, isn't there a big crystal at the top of the central tower? I was going to tell you about that, but go ahead and know about it before I have a chance to inform you. He did that to me with a lot of dreams, or just things in general. Like, you know, even after that point, you know, I had a lot of phone calls with him where it's like, oh yeah, I want to ask you about this dream I had, and then he wants to tell me about, because I like, you know, wanted to talk to him about like a couple of dreams that I had, and then it's like he jumps 2 dreams ahead of me and gives me an answer on that one before I even finish telling him about the first one. It's like, okay, sure. If that one's more important, then go ahead. Alright, I'm probably pushing my time here as well. Let's see, I started around like... Ooh. Yeah, okay. Let me finish, regrassing everything. Because it's... yeah. But it's like, yeah. And that's also just, yeah. Just yeah, because it's like... There's more that goes on with our reality than we're let on about. I mean, it was crazy kinds of conversations I had, and it's like, it's not just like, oh yeah, he's telling me about the dream I had. No, he's like spot on, perfect detailing of what I saw, and I'd only just seen it the night before. I hadn't even gotten to it. Like at most, I thought about it. He had, like, how would he, how would he even known? How could he have known? It's literally like, you know, the day after, or the morning after I got those dreams, and he just already telling me about them before I can. So, anyhow, yeah, that kind of goes into how, like, because he told me about the castle, and after, like, wait, how do you already know about the tower? You know, he goes and tells me about how, basically, like, in a different timeline, I lived in that castle. And granted, yeah, the versions I build aren't going to have 100% accuracy to that other timeline, but that's honestly, one, that's okay, and two, probably for the best, because apparently having multiple of myself in a timeline. Oh, okay, that's not even really relevant. But you know, it's probably for the best to not have a perfect recreation of a castle from another timeline. Cause and it's like not even really possible because everything, you know, changes and grows over time anyway. I mean, I can get near perfect, I guess. But again, it's still, you know, the point isn't like I should be going and bringing in stuff from other timelines, even if that's a possible thing. More just, you know, if that's even really what's going on, then there has to be a very specific purpose for that. And the only purpose I can think of is it's giving me something I can work with for, you know, being creative and, you know, telling a story, having a story to tell. And that's not to say that that's the only way to get that sort of a thing going. It's just how that's happening for me. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of authors out there who have stories that just kind of popped into their heads somehow, or you know, like Toby Fox is, you know, told us about how Deltarune, you know, is the game to complete, you know, the ending that he got in a fever dream. So, you know, not the weirdest thing in the world, even if the, you know, the story surrounding how I learned about everything may be hard to swallow for people because, you know, aren't alternate timelines supposed to be a thing of fiction? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Anyways, let's see. No, I still want to keep it cylinder. Yeah, center 6. All right. Still got some stuff over here to clean up. Wow, yeah, these tools are pretty cool. I'll probably have to go... I still kind of want to do the sheer cliffs thing a little bit. Partially because, like, you know, styling and stuff. It makes it stand out. Gives you a lot of excuses to mantle, especially if I, you know... I probably should, You know what? Let's go ahead and raise this up a little bit. I mean, half the point is that, like, for what I'm doing here, I don't need to go over that. Let me also just, like, drop that to the bottom again, and... Oh, no, not bottom, I want top. So that sinks into the ground. One up, and center. So I'm wanting it to be a little higher. I still want to try and go for like multiples of 3, basically. So this should make it be like 6 blocks tall because of the fucking offsets. I can like, yeah, smooth down some of the odds and ends a bit. Right, it is a smooth brush, not an eraser brush. Oh well. I probably don't even need to, like, remove that anyway. Because, like, oh yeah, I do need this to kind of more, like, go like this. It might not be perfectly smooth, but I dare say it's probably handling better than Minecraft ever could hope to. Then, well, okay, my brushes weren't bad at smooth operations when I did them in Minecraft. It's just the scale of those brushes was quite limited. Without stacking like 5 of them on top of each other. Okay, right, yes, and we've got an actual hot springs area here. I may still need to carve things out for the springs, but that'll be fine. Oh yeah, and don't forget, like, good chunks of it are going to be up. So I'm just kind of focusing on like, yeah, getting a basic shape for the terrain before moving on to actually detailing anything and doing it a bit layer by layer. I do also need to like end the episode soon because it's been like a bit. I am gonna have other things that I need to do. Okay. I did have something a bit like this before. I can definitely expand the cave system. And this time, I will make sure to actually completely, build the mountain thoroughly before I try to put caves into it so that I'm not, later running the risk of going through and brushing over the caves with, something that erases them on accident. Oh, and that's what I was hoping to avoid having. I can worry about that later. Let's see, I do need to have a big bunch of stuff going on here. This can all be a connected hill or slope. And before I continue much further that way, get all this finished up. And let's see. I could have something around here. Okay, you that way. There's gonna be more or less the same kind of an area. It might be a bit bigger, might not. Don't know. Doing my best, but when you're going by hand, it's going to be a little different every time. And that's what makes it interesting. I think. Yeah, I think for this area, having it more enclosed isn't a bad thing, because it's already kind of like, you know, one of the ends of the valley anyway. And then I want to go ahead and set this to quartzite, because now we're dealing with the Golden Mountain rock patterns and formations and stuff. Yeah, let's see. Another time check. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm more than for sure over my usual time, but at the same time, I'm not against just having, like, some longer videos. Especially with how my backlog is looking. And just how, like, the only other way I could go about this would be to get, you know, burn even more of my actual time on learning how to, you know, getting editing software and shit, to condense it all into a bunch of, you know, your typical, oh wow, I'm gonna go build something, 2-minute montage. Okay, I'm done. Isn't it all pretty? You know, the usual stuff everyone does. That's not me. I don't have time to do that. I don't have the resources to hire someone to do that for me. And also, I think, you know, it's worth appreciating just, like, you know, how much time goes into big scale projects like this, especially if you're on your own. And I think that's kind of important and something that's being lost in translation when you just have a lot of, you know, big people with like you know, big popularity people who basically already have life, you know, kind of handed to them. You know, hit the YouTube lottery and won big enough that they don't have to care anymore about, you know, this or that. I mean, they do have to care about things, but their cares are now, like, more about, you know, keeping what they already have, you know, building it bigger, and almost always just, like, having the time of their lives while expanding what they've got. Which I can't say is a bad thing, but also, like, there's, you know, a lot of people who are just kind of grifters about it, or just, you know, want to do what everyone else does when they get into that boat. And, like, you know, not to disrespect them, it's also not even like wanting to go that way. A lot of people do it because it's almost obligatory if you want to really, you know, do or have anything of worth, like, you know. But yeah, I kind of want to go about things my own way, and if that's not, you know, completely satisfactory to YouTube standards, too bad. I'm kind of not a fan of how YouTube's been running their shit anyway. And I'm especially not going to care if I can manage to be seen by Hypixel Studios and basically have their game be my career future. Alright. At least immediate future. I do have a lot of things I want to do. I am passionate about Hytale, but you know, I am passionate about it the way I was passionate about Minecraft a year ago. I'm a lot more trusting with Hypixel Studios though, because like they're actually wanting to be, you know, for player by the player. You know, the stuff that used to make Minecraft great before Microsoft corporatized it. I really should expand the walkable areas around here. The sun fog glare is making it a little hard to see. Oh well. Let me just get that, like, yeah, base shapes for the area more or less, and then... Oh yeah, I should also, like... There's the house. I'm carving it like that. Yeah, because I'm getting a little... Would you mind, like... Oh, right. Because I want it to be, like, you know, not just some tight mountain, but also, like, you know, a decently forested area that you can wander around in and find things in. That's part of my aim here, so that's kind of why I want to, expand the area a bit. That said, I think I may be very well out of time, and I might be needed soon for real-life obligations and everything. Yeah. So I'm not exactly done carving all this out just yet, or you know, anything, but I'm getting somewhere. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.